Jobs to be done is about radically taking the perspective of the customer. And often we see in sort of trainings of startups and Hollywood movies about startups, this idea of doing the magical, brilliant pitch. And from my experience in all these years with ClimateLaunchpad and seeing thousands of startups, the best startups are actually the ones that are not so focused on telling their story, but about listening, about becoming a really good listener and really becoming sort of ingrained in your customer and understanding what they need. And that is what Jobs to be Done is about. We got inspiration for this from a book called Competing Against Luck, which is published by Harvard professor Clay Christensen. And basically what the name says is what it is. What job are you getting done for your customers? So if you want more inspiration and do a little reading, I suggest that book. It's a really good book. One of the interesting examples from the book is a company called Quicken. They're an American company. They make software for bookkeeping, and they started in the 80s when people started getting their first home computers or personal computers. Things we now find very normal, but well, PCs haven't been around always. So the company's called Intuit. They made a software called Quicken. And people use it to do their sort of home administration. So they would know how much taxes to pay, where they spend their money, sort of keep track of their bank accounts. And the customers were really happy. And they tracked the sort of what people were using the software for. And one of the things they found in their customer surveys was that people were not only using Quicken at home, but they were also using it at the office. And they thought, well, that makes sense because not everybody has a home computer yet, so people are doing their home administration at work. But after 5 years, it still turned out that about half of the people were actually using Quicken at work. And that sort of was surprising to them. The number didn't go down. So they started talking to customers, saying, well, can you explain to me why you are using Quicken at work? And as it turned out, people were using the software for something it was not meant to do. They were doing it to keep the books of a small company. So they figured this is actually a different job. And for this job, we can make, with little changes to our existing software, a new software package called QuickBooks. And QuickBooks came on the market and got within a year 80%, 85% market share. And this story is already more than 20 years old, and still the company has a 75% market share because it's just so focused on getting that job done for its customers. So this is a really powerful story. And another example of a company that does a job really well would be, for instance, one where you say, well, the job I have now is that I just moved, and I want to have my home furnitured in less than a day for not too much money. Then you immediately will think of IKEA. So IKEA is a company that is completely focused on getting that job done for customers, and it's done really well because of that. From my own experience, I worked in a cinema in the 90s, and it was a way to while I was studying, have some income, and I became one of the managers at the cinema pretty quickly. And when I started, I thought, yeah, well, the cinema wasn't doing that great. We were losing money, so we needed a plan to attract more visitors. And my first thought was, well, our competitors, of course, are other cinemas. So how do we attract people from other cinemas to come to our cinema? That sort of was our plan. But while I was working in just doing my shifts in the cinema, I would talk to customers, or I would hear conversations they were having in our bar, and they would talk about other things than going to another cinema when they sort of talked about competitors. So one of the things that we found was that sometimes we had a group of friends there, and they would say after they had seen a great movie, "Oh, I'm so glad we didn't just go to a bar because this was so much more fun, and now we have the bar too." So one of the jobs we got done was to have a fun night out with a group of friends, which was like, oh, that's interesting. And another one was that we noticed that, especially in the weekends, we would get couples who were kind of shy with each other. You could tell they weren't together that long, and as it turned out, most of these were on a date. And we learned actually that for shy people it's hard to talk to each other, and then to go watch a movie together with someone is actually a very good first date. So we start thinking about, well, can we program movies in the weekends that are fun for couples or future couples, dates to watch? So we would program specifically for that. We also found that in the weekends we often would get parents that just needed an excuse to get the kids out of the house and just have something to do with them. So we started programming for that. And another one, which was sort of a surprise to us, we found that there was, in Amsterdam where the cinema was, its name is Criterion, it's still there, we would have these people that were really into movies. You could call them movie nerds. They showed up at when we organized special festivals. We would get a lot of them. And we thought, could there be something that we could do specifically for these movie nerds? And we came up with something that was what we call a sneak preview. So we got a movie before it was an official rotation. And you could see it in our cinema on Tuesdays. And Tuesdays was the night that was terrible. Like nobody goes to movies on Tuesdays. And so if you're a movie nerd, you can see a movie without it being in rotation. That's pretty cool. And it became a complete hit. So every Tuesday evening, suddenly we were completely sold out. And most people not only came for the movies, but actually to hang around in a bar and talk to other movie nerds about the movie. So not only did we make a lot of money by selling tickets to the movie, but we also made a lot of money in the bar. So what it allowed us to do, once we figured out there were different jobs that we got done for different types of people, we could design experiences for them. So for instance, for the bar people that wanted a night out, we talked to the neighboring pizzeria. We had an Italian restaurant next door, and we made sort of a package with them so they could have dinner and movie and also be on time. And that turned out to be a big hit too. So the thing I've learned from working with jobs to be done is that it opens potential market segments that you never imagined, because your sort of normal inclination is to think, well, the competition is similar people like me doing similar things. But what you can learn from all these examples is that you are actually competing with many different things that you might not have thought about. And one other reason why we think this is such a powerful perspective is that the customer value proposition is tightly linked to the job that you get done. So once you figured out what the job is that you get done, you can also figure out, what is then actually the value that I create for the customer? And from there, the customer value proposition gives you lots of valuable information on pricing, which is always very hard in a startup. So many startups always think, well, I'm just going to do cost plus pricing. Like the cost to make this and sell this is this much, I'll do 20% on top. But sometimes if you create this much value for the customer and your cost is only this, well, why would you give all of that to your customer? You could go somewhere here. So to be able to do value-based pricing is closely related to jobs to be done and the customer value proposition.